The evolution from season 1, just in that very first episode, like his dilemma with trying to help his mom by doing something really bad but having a good intention, and then morphing into that, and then obviously the loss in season 1. How challenging was that for you to have that emotional like dichotomy?
I was sort of excited that they allowed that to be shown, and somebody that comes from sort of a rough environment, from the streets. It's easy to kind of look at him and judge him right away, but you know, thanks to Guillermo's writing and vision for the character, they show who he is, and they ultimately see that it's just a defense mechanism, you know, that toughness. It's just his battle armor. It's not really who he is on the inside. And so for him to want to change his life for his mom, I think that's the driving force of everything that's in him. You know, he wants to do right for his family. And losing that, I think it sort of makes him want to do it even more, because now he's lost his mom, and now he wants to do right by her, and now he wants to get sort of revenge, and there's a vendetta for losing her and his best friend and his brother. You know, so I thought it was really cool that they allowed that, and they showed that, you know, just because you come from a certain environment or the street, you can do some positive things. You can have honor. You can have integrity. You can be, you know, honest, you know, in a way. You know, you make mistakes all the time, you know, but you try. It's what you do with those mistakes, and to try to, you know, right your wrongs.
Yeah, I just loved your portrayal of that. It was it was really great.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
How's your Comic-Con going?
Amazing. It's my first one, so it's been an experience. It's really fun.
So your character obviously comes into season 1. She's the hacker who turned down the internet in New York, and now you have learned the reasons why Palmer had asked you to do that, and you want to make right what was wrong. So now in this season, what can you tell us about the evolution of your character? You obviously have switched sort of sides. There's an evolution to your character. What was the most challenging part of that?
My role gets very physically demanding and very emotionally demanding. So I would say the physical aspects, because we do a lot of fighting, a lot of stunts, which is really fun. You guys will enjoy that. But it's been great to explore new relationships, and she's kind of finding a purpose in this season. So yeah, it's good.
I am excellent.
You are a busy man.
I am a busy man, but I am, you know, very grateful for, you know, all the love and attention that my shows are getting down here. So it's super cool. I totally appreciate it.
So this season on the Strain, can you give us a little bit about the way things are going to take place? With obviously there's another vampire clan, I guess you would say, that is trying to defeat the Master, and they're working with the humans. Can you give us a little bit of that?
You know, the first season was really about an epidemiological crisis that led to this sort of strain of vampirism, you know, emerging, and people were like basically in denial, or they were like, humans are turning into vampires? No, this can't be. But in season 2, everybody's pretty much accepts the fact that these vampires exist. So the question really of season 2 is, what are we going to do about it? And season 2 is really about each character trying to figure out what they can do to stop this vampire apocalypse in his or her own way. So, like Nora and F as epidemiologists, they decide to try to reverse engineer a way to kill these vampires. So they're taking their knowledge of epidemiology, which is normally used to save people, and they're going to try to come up with a way to kill them all off. Setrakian is trying to find this mysterious book, the Aceta Lumen, which may or may not hold the solution as to how to kill the Master and these other vampires, and that you know, if he's trying to find that book. Fed and Gus are just killing a lot of vampires all the time. You know, we have this mysterious character Quinlan who arises, who, you know, we're not quite sure what his story is. We have more stuff with the Ancients. I mean, I love the show because it has so many layers of antagonism. It's not like The Walking Dead where you have one type of zombie that does the same thing. We have many different forces, many different types of vampires who have different things that they do and different agendas, and that's a lot of fun as a writer to basically have all those tools in your tool chest.
How's your Comic-Con going?
It's good. I just got here, so I'm the freshest person in the room.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we were just doing the signings, and everybody was sort of sunburnt and smelled horrible. And they had slept for like 2 hours over the last week and eating nothing but churros and Mountain Dew.
So you've been in a lot of shows lately, obviously Homeland, House of Cards, Strain. So your character is an epidemiologist with the CDC. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to see from F in this season? Obviously in the first season there was kind of like a little bit of disbelief with this thing actually happening, and now that you've seen everything, there's obviously a shift in your mentality.
Yeah. No, last season I was the resident skeptic. And I was the last person to believe what everybody in New York knew, and everybody back home in the audience knew. And we start season 2, where that's gone. I'm still skeptical about some of the really some of the mythological basis of the stories that Setrakian is telling me, but I believe they're vampires. I believe there's a master who controls them. I believe they can use telepathy, and but yet I'm still using some sort of science-based methodology to defeat them. Giving up on the idea of a cure or a virus, but perhaps some way something that kills them but doesn't kill people. And so we're going to a sort of a bioweapon mode.
Doing great.
How long you been here? All 4 days? Or all week long?
Yeah.
Holding up well?
Yeah.
Save the best for last though, right? Yeah. How are you? I'm great. We're so excited. It's so much fun being here, and we can't wait for everyone to see season 2. It's been a long time in the making, so when everyone sees it, we can finally talk about things.
Oh, well, we've seen the first 3.
Well, you've seen more than I have.
Yeah.
We saw a screening of the premiere of the first episode last week, and because the prologue took so long to shoot, and Guillermo went back and added so many great things to the episode, so it was forever in the making, and it was so epic to finally see it come together. Yeah.
You were absolutely stunning. So to see you and then know that you played this other character on the show.
Well, there's room for improvement, that's for sure. But
I'm hoping the master might give you a little makeover.
I hinted so hard in season 1, if I could hang out with Eichorst and maybe borrow a little concealer, that would be great.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's in store. I borrowed some of his blotting paper today, so Richard Sammell's very generous that way.
So when you got the script for season 1 and you realized later on in the season how your character was going to progress, what was the most challenging part of that, knowing that your character was going to become this person?
I think the greatest challenge was also the most fun, working with the choreographer, Roberto Campanella, who worked closely with Guillermo to come up with the physicality of the vamp movement. And he worked with me on episode 10, Loved Ones, trying to figure out that slow transformation and how it affects the body. And it affects everyone differently. Some people turn very quickly right to monster. Kelly was a little slow on the uptake, which made for a better episode. In this season, she's a bit more regal, if you will. Stands a little bit taller, less twitchy, more highly functioning. She's been given a very long leash by the master to do both his bidding and her own. So this season there was a lot less dialogue, but more interesting physical challenges. So I prepared in a more physical way to work more viscerally and took a wide variety of movement classes, physical theater, Muay Thai, trying to know what it feels like to be a bit meaner, tougher, stronger, as a Strigoi should be. So yeah, it was a really great challenge and a lot of fun to play this season.
I get all these iPhones and dictaphones. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Take them with you.
My daughters will be happy. So, hello everybody.
Hi. I absolutely love the way that you portray Eichorst. He is so distinguished and has an underlying maliciousness that is just right under the surface, but he's so very polite in the way he delivers his lines. You're absolutely brilliant. So in this next...
Is that a question?
No. I was giving you the compliment first.
I take it in. Thank you so much.
So in this second season, obviously you work with Palmer a lot more, and I feel like there's a obvious animosity between the both of you because you've been by the Master's side for so long, and now Palmer's saying, I'm the Master's partner, and it kind of rubs you the wrong way. So what are we going to see between you and Palmer this season?
Well, you're going to see between us what generally we'll see in season 2. It's an intensification and a concentration of conflicts. And the existing conflicts we know about in season 1, the private ones between the band of the good guys, you know, and this conflict is an ongoing one since the very beginning. It's basically, it reminds me the conflict between the aristocratic economy, old established traditional economy, and the new economy, which is arrogant, fast, efficient, powerful, ruthless, you know, and that's basically at the human level, I would say, the conflict Eichorst has with Palmer. I think Eichorst knows that Palmer is this kind of self-made man that gives him nothing else but arrogance, and he never would accept to be a CEO at the right-hand side to another CEO. First thing he would do is to complot against the other CEO. So there is a thing in me where I profoundly can't trust at all Palmer on the one hand side, and on the other hand I try to make him understand what's wrong with him in order to be an important partner in our game. So, this thing is when I'm your friend as a friend, and then it's not only sarcasm, it's only tension behind it, you know. But there is a necessity of working together with a partner you do not really appreciate. And then it's the high efficiency of the partner's action that makes you understand that you have to sustain him. And the Master's final decision. The Master decides that Palmer is so worthy to us that I have to sustain him and support him. And really, to support him. The richness of it comes from there, being human and vampire. Vampire completely invented, so have superpowers, you can play superheroes, so he's sci-fi, but still human. From the acting point of view, what I find so interesting is to elaborate the complexity of this character with nothing, absolutely nothing. He just looks normal. He has a suit and a shirt. And that's it. He has no fangs. He has no long arms. He doesn't see anything. You don't need special effects. So it's only acting. It's only character study. And the basic thing, and that was genius that I could work with Guillermo on the pilot for so long, is to reduce his how would I say, emanations of humanity to a minimum. When he looks at you, he just looks at you. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't look badly, and it doesn't look nice. He just looks, and you don't know what will come.
Yeah.
Now look you. I talk to you, And I know that you're listening to me because you all do that, yes, and you make movements, and and if you concentrate on eliminating all this, you just look, and then a kind of danger builds up because you can't frame the character anymore. What's he? Is he listening? Is he?
And you're not blinking.
And you're not blinking, and all this stuff, you know. So reduce all human non-verbal communication behaviors. You eliminate them. So it's reducing human behavior things that you can add a kind of undescribable. That was a genius strike, and it's actually very hard for an actor not to do.
Which is why I said you do it so beautifully.
Thanks so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to wear a dress and not to wear my parka and my gym.
Yeah.
It's been 2.5 years wearing the same clothes.
Are we going to see maybe your relationship with Abraham grow a little bit more? Because I think in the very beginning, you and Abraham kind of butted heads just a little bit because you were resistant to believing this whole mythologic aspect of the vampires. And I think in season the first episode of season 2 and maybe like the second episode, you and him have more of a conversation. Yeah. So are we going to see an expansion of your relationship with him? Kind of like more of a bonding?
Definitely, you'll see a little expansion between the relationship between Setrakian and Nora. They love each other very much. I always feel like Setrakian and Nora have this, disguised father-daughter relationship, and he really confides in her. So he will tell her a few secrets that no other person knows within the group.
I think she almost is like a moral compass for the group.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
Yeah, so she still has that way when she has to shoot someone that she knows that has been infected. She still kind of holds back before she shoots because she still she still has hope that they can be saved, even though deep down she knows they probably can't be saved. I think that she has that conflict, but she's kind of the moral compass for the group. Yeah,
that's a very good point. She is a moral, ethical compass for the group. And you will get to see that in season 2 as well. Of course, whenever it's needed, she's sword and gun ready and kill whatever vampires come her way. But if there's a way of maybe saving some suffering to people that had just been turned, she's going to try to kill them in a more human way. And she has some really beautiful scenes with Justine Feralda, which is a new character, and she actually helps her out, kill a person that is very dear to Justine, and do it in a not in a horrendous aggressive way. She'll always go for the more human side of things.
I'm very excited for season 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a great season. We're super excited too. The special effects are just brighter and bigger, and there's so many more monsters, and there's so many more connections between the characters, and there's so much less that we have to explain to the audience, because the audience already knows the premise of the show. So that's been a true gift for us this season. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
So Setrakian this season, he's still after the Master, and then now he meets the other vampire underground type of, and the ancients. What can you expand to us that's going to be happening with your character in this group of kind of underground vampires?
Well, I suppose he's
keeping it a secret from the rest of the team too.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he's failed spectacularly already at the end of season 1, as you know, to nail the Master at last. And I think he's aware that he's lost a lot of credibility within this kind of surrogate family he's now got, whether he likes it or not. And he's got to claw back a bit of respectability, and so now when he suggests let's go down into the unknown, maybe like F and Nora thinking maybe he got it wrong before, maybe he got it wrong again, so are we sure we want to? So they kind of start to explore another avenue, a medical solution to the problem by capturing this strain and hopefully wiping out the whole strigoid. And he fortunately finds, Setrakian finds an ally in Vasiliy who will say, yeah, I'll go, where are we going next? Yes, I'm in, And he's just as crazy as the old guy, in the sense that, I think Setrakian appreciates that, and there's a growing kind of surrogate father-son relationship that develops there.
Definitely, yeah.
And there's, I think when Setrakian realizes that this mysterious book, the Oxido Lumen, it does exist, where other people have said it was destroyed or it never even existed, it's a total myth. He believes that he has a feeling that this book does exist, so he devotes most of his time, and I think that at one point the ancients facilitate purchase and the discovery of this book, and so he realizes he can use them to complete his mission, and he finds that there are other people on side, people who are like Miguel's character and Rupert Penry Jones's character. They realise they all want the same thing, but so it's a very uneasy alliance. But thankfully for Setrakian, as I say, Vasiliy is on board, and he's willing to go into places where others don't venture. So, and I think the little relationships in season 2 develop further, and with new characters being introduced, the story is spread outward a bit more, and its set pieces are just as spectacular, but I think the relationships within the group are more interesting, and the dynamic of the little tensions that exist when people are living in not the most habitable place, an abandoned factory where that is nobody's en suite, we're all living quite rough in there. And so it shows what happens when people are thrown into these situations, and little fractures within the group, and burgeoning friendships, and it just shows other aspects of all the characters. Makes it, I think it's richer in the sense, in the writing and hopefully in the performance. But I'll wait to see when I can't even watch tonight because I'll be on the plane back to England. So, and it's not showing there, and it's delayed by quite a few weeks, I think. So.
I love how feisty you play. You're very feisty as Abraham.
Oh, let's hear it for the old guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I never thought I was going to be playing an action hero at 73,
If you could play one of the characters, which one would you want to be?
That's a great question. I would play, because I play them all, in my head. Which one would I want to be? I don't know. I would say probably. I don't know. I probably want to play like Eichorst. Someone who's really, nasty and fun. And why not? Yeah.
Always dressed in a very dapper suit.
Yeah. Totally. Exactly. Why be the good guy?
Never getting away.
Or you could be Vasiliy and always carry a rebar.
That would definitely be my second choice. But Kevin's Vasiliy. There's no.
First, I just want to say I'm such a huge fan of The Mummy, and I just love you, and your character this season, Palmer, has a different story arc than he did in season 1. Season 1, he was very sickly. He was still trying to get cured, so to speak. And now he's the Master's partner. There's friction between you and Eichorst. How fun has it been playing this kind of duplicitous character?
Glorious. Duplicity. Nothing is nicer than duplicity, really. When you can be, you know, pretend to be the kindest, nicest, most helpful human being in the world, at the same time be doing exactly the opposite. To be statesmanlike and appear to be the great fighter for the cause of humanity, and to be doing the opposite. That's chewy.
And you also have a love interest this season.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
I'm really excited to see how this goes down, because obviously we've seen a little bit of your backstory, and we've been able to see the first couple of episodes.
Have you?
Yeah, and
I have.
I believe in
They're pretty good. Don't worry.
They're very good. In the second episode, we see a little bit of your history about how you first met Abraham.
Yes.
So, will we see more of an exploration of your friendship, or I guess maybe frenemyship with Abraham?
Yes, it's expanded on considerably more. In fact, I actually meet him.
Because there's the book that you guys have in common.
Yes, there's the book, and there's the I think and I'm thinking of the books where he tries to get Setrakian's help to track down the Master and the Lumen. That ends unhappily.
You're just being coy.
I am being very coy, hideously coy.
Well, I think in the very first season, he didn't fully turn you into a vampire. He just gave you a little bit to help heal you from being so sick.
Yes.
And you're just waiting for that extra.
The proper, you know.
Yeah, but Palmer is taking a different approach in achieving that by being a little bit more aggressive.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, there's an aggression there.
That's what health does for you. No two ways about that. You know, he can go out to restaurants now.
Yeah.
Do all that.
What was interesting in the
So I think you're a brilliant actor. I mean, you've played so many characters and stuff. Obviously, you've been on Vikings. You've been in a ton of shows recently and stuff. But this character, I just love the way you played Vasiliy. And this season, you're kind of nurturing a little bit more. You're concerned about Abraham. You want to feed him. You want to make sure he's taken care of. You guys have become really good buddies.
Yeah.
What are we going to see with your character and Abraham this season?
Yeah, I mean, he brings out a side of him that I don't know. He just never got a chance to really show that with his own father. Because his father, was always dissatisfied with him, and Vasiliy was a different man. And in Setrakian, he's got a mentor. He's got kind of a father figure. And he's frail and he's tired.
But Abraham accepts Vasiliy for who he is.
Yes.
That's, I think, another thing too, the acceptance.
Well, beyond accepts me, he celebrates me. He
respects you.
He respects me. We understand each other. I'm a younger version, and I think that. I think all that nurturing just comes in because I don't want to lose him in the vampocalypse.
Yeah.
Because I need him. We all need him. He has so many years of knowledge and experience, and even if a couple of the other characters is kind of questioning his sanity, and I never stray from it because I believe in Setrakian. I trust.
Yeah.
You know?
If I could even say the word adorable in this show, it would be amazing. But I think the way that you want to offer him food and want to say, do you need to eat something? It's so adorable how you want to take care of him.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, but then you see Vasiliy with that rebar. Yeah, but then you see him with that rebar, he completely comes into this other. Yeah. I just love the way that you switch that. It's seamless.
It's not very interesting to play, one or two dimensions. And I thank you for all your comments about previous work. Thank you. And for me, it's very important to try to play a fleshed out human being, and no matter what that might entail, we're all capable of everything. It's all in us to be anything and everything all the time. And someone cuts you off in traffic, you might be singing along to some Barry Manilow song, someone cuts you off, and then all of a sudden you become a freaking psychotic lunatic. And we fight all of those things all the time, and Vasiliy is on the verge of everything, as I am as a human being. I think that's probably why it transfers across. Initially reading the book, the graphic novel, she's a lot more stoic, but then reading his journals, like what he'd write just for himself, he's talking about how he's flourishing. So it was more interesting for me to play that than to write journals. So he's getting stronger, he's more excited, he's more passionate, women that never would have looked at him before are kind of going, there's a protector, there's
because he wants to take the city back, block by block, if he has to.
He's going to do by any means necessary.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's so fun to play. I'm so grateful for it.
I can tell you're having a great time.
Yeah.
Can you talk?